All right, gang, next what we're going to do is get our number of people selector. Now, there are pickers in watchOS, and they're well supported. They're not bad. It just makes a little slider thing. But they do create this kind of strange interface element. And let's be honest, the number of times that you're calculating tip and all this kind of stuff with 10 people is a little bit overkill. So what we're going to do is instead of having a picker, I'm going to replace this with a button. So I'm going to put these buttons stacked vertically on top of each other. So it just says one person, two people, three people, etc. And so I'm going to just make that another VStack. And inside of that VStack, I'm going to put a series of buttons. And the first button is going to say one person. One person, two people, three people, four people, five people, doesn't like something. What doesn't it like? Oh, no, we're good. Okay. So just 5 buttons that don't do anything is what we're going to look at first. And we're just going to make sure that this works how we like it. So scroll past the inputting the bill amount and number of people. Great. What I'm going to do is put some text at the top so I can say this is what this thing is. I always forget how small the Apple Watch screen is. So you have some pretty limited options when it comes to what it looks like. All right, so numbered Niners. Great. Now we need to actually make these buttons do something. And you can see the picker styling gets a little wonky. There's ways of fixing that, but we're not going to get into that today. So if I remember right, the pickers is impacting number of people. And so I'm going to delete this and just have number of people be populated by the action on the button. So here the action here is going to change number of people to whatever they had selected. Number of people, set it to 1 if they select 1 people. I'm trying to remember, is number of people a string? No, it's in real number. Great. So this is even easier. It's going to be that same error message where it says, look, it's a variable that's declared outside of the button, so I need to add self to go back out to that, change it. And I'm going to add this action to all the other buttons. Hopefully you can't hear my kids yelling at each other upstairs. It's happy yells. They're playing. They're mostly nice human beings. All right, so there we go. Now we have buttons that will change number of people. And then we need to have it change tip amount. I'm going to do the exact same kind of thing for tip amount. Only one of the things I didn't like about the previous tip amount was that it was possible to tip 0%. And I think that's just shady. So we're going to get rid of that and just say, you have to tip. At least 5%. So it's like a pickup or something like that during normal circumstances. That might be appropriate. Although for me, I've been tipping huge lately. I don't know about you guys, but anybody that's helping me right now, get some extra. All right. And then we're not going to be changing number of people. That was changing this variable, which was tip percentage. So 5 people changes tip percentage. Or 5% is 5 tip percentage. Change that for each one. is 10. 15 is 15. 20 is 20. 25 is 25. Great. And now everything should work. Oh, looks like I missed a closing bracket someplace, or have an extra one someplace. Oh, I added one too many for that VStack that we added. My bad. So if you said it cost $12.50, great. And there's 2 people. And the tip that I want to give is 20%. Then this is what it looks like. So total bill is $12.50. Uh-oh, looks like a percentage thing isn't working. Why not? Let's go ahead and check that out. Oh, now it's working. Total bill is not working, but total per person is. So we're going to do a little bit of digging to figure out that. Let's go work. It's working. 5%. Yep, that works. Okay. It's working. It's just, yeah, we're all good. You can see we do have a problem here, which was a problem that we had in the previous app, but we hadn't really discussed it, which is this thing does not round to the nearest penny. It can go in weird circumstances. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that and show you how to fix that. There's a bunch of different ways you can do that, where you can create like custom number formatting and all that kind of stuff. But to me, the easiest way is just some really simple math. What I'm going to do is go up to this total amount per person and all that grand total and all this kind of jazz. I'm going to take total amount or amount per person that gets displayed, and I'm going to modify it a little bit before it gets displayed. So I'm going to change this from a let to a var so that I can screw with it. What I'm going to do is take amount per person and I'm going to round it up to the nearest whole dollar, but that doesn't solve the problem, because what if you have pennies? So what I'm going to do is take the amount and multiply it by 100. So if you would put in 15, if the result was what we just gotten, which was on whole number dot 0.0001 or whatever, what I want to do is round it up. So if it's if the total amount was $10 and 10.573 is the total amount. So I'm going to write that down so you can remember. So if that is what the calculated total amount per person is, what I want to do is lose this 3 and just have this rounded to the nearest whole amount. So what I'm going to do is take this whole number and multiply it by 100. So move the decimal point over. This is pretty simple math from, I don't know, probably 6th grade for you guys, something like that. And then what I'm going to do is take this and round to the nearest whole number, which would be, and then take that, divide it by 100, and it'll equal that. All right, so I'm making this in a comment, which is at that // it doesn't do any actual code, so let's go ahead and execute that. So first what I'm going to do is take amount per person and multiply it by 100. Then whatever that total amount is right there, I'm going to round it to the nearest whole number. We have a method called round that does that. And then I'm going to take, so that gets me to this. And then I'm going to divide by 100 again to get to something that looks more like what we expect. Only, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Oh, I don't like that. I want to do the rounding first. So this is the proper order of operations. So first, round the decimal point to the nearest whole number, then multiply by 100, then take that total amount and divide by 100. What? Nope, I'm wrong. Sorry, it's one of those, like, you gotta think through it all the time. Okay, here we go. What I'm gonna do is take that decimal point round and multiply it by 100, then round to the nearest whole number to lose the anything past the penny level and divide that total back down to 100. Okay, now we should be good. Let's check it out. I'm gonna get some really gnarly numbers in here so that I can divide some stuff unevenly. And it comes out nice and pretty. Now, at the end of the day, if you back this out, it might work out that you're a penny short or something like that. But you know, that's something that you solve at the dinner table. All right, so there you go. We've now converted our tip calculator from an iPhone app over to an Apple Watch app. We've done buttons and actions and seen how all these things tie together. Now, this isn't pretty, and it's from a visual hierarchy standpoint, it's pretty complicated. It doesn't really, for instance, I would rather have all these buttons be tweaked so that I can see the entire keypad on screen at the same time and the total amount as you're typing it in. So that would be something that I would want to tweak out and that sort of thing. And that kind of jazz is not very complicated. You just simply do it with kind of all the kind of standard issue SwiftUI stuff that we've been doing before. So for instance, I can select a button and get all the controls up for the button over here and tweak out the button how I want it. The text rather. You can do all that kind of stuff using this. Not terribly complicated, using all the stuff that we've already done. So there you go. Enough SwiftUI on Apple Watch to be dangerous.